Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, your Greater Toronto Area real estate agent, and I'm going to update you entirely with the numbers that have been released for April 2024. And the major headline is actually that we had one of the weakest months ever. So at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you to what extent I agree with this statement here. And if you are considering buying or selling, make sure to call me as my customers get excellent service. And we're going to start off by looking at this chart over here where we're looking at a month-by-month breakdown of the really important numbers to pay attention to. And those are the number of sales, active listings, months of inventory, the average price, and our days on market. And the major talking point here is the fact that the number of active listings has significantly increased, although the number of sales really hasn't. And nobody really saw this coming, with April having reported 18,000 plus active listings compared to March just about 12,000. And we have to go all the way back to October 2023 to a time when the number of listings active were this high. Although it's really unusual is that although the number of active listings is quite up, the number of sales isn't. And that doesn't really make much sense. If you look at a store, for example, and the store has more product, you would expect to have more sales as they do have more product in inventory. However, the number of sales here has really only slightly increased from about 6,500 in March to about 7,100 in April. So it's this time especially where the market may be somewhat volatile, because we should expect to see a lot of negative headlines out there saying that the market is slow, when in actuality, the market is slow depending on how you define slow. Although this doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad market. What is a bad market anyway? What it means is that we're not seeing the typical spring market that we usually see, because in the spring we usually see better prices, listings selling faster, and often selling in bidding wars, whereas that's just really not happening right now. I'm in the marketplace every single day talking to buyers, sellers, other professional realtors. In February, we definitely did see the market being the strongest from a seller's perspective, whereas now we've moved more into a balanced market and perhaps a bit of a buyer's market. And this is reflected based on the months of inventory. So we can see the months of inventory reported in April was 2.54, meaning it's more of a buyer's market than a seller's market, comparing it to March. And we can go back to May 2023, when the market, you can say, was pretty much at its best throughout the past 12 plus months. And that's when listings were selling fast and for very strong prices. And that's when we had very few listings and we had a higher number of sales. You can see we had over 9,000 sales at that point and just about 12,000 active listings. So this is something to pay attention to, the number of sales versus the number of active listings. Though here's where things get even more surprising, is that you would expect that, seeing this information, that the average price would come down. All the news headlines saying that the market's slower, that we're not having as great of a spring market. But the good news is that the average price is actually slightly up. Looking at this data here, we can see the average price reported in March 2024 was $1,120,000, and in April it was $1,160,000. So it's not a major change, and prices are pretty much where they were about a year ago from now, with the average price detached home going up the most in value by 1.8%, semis up slightly by 0.3%, townhouses down 3.7%, and condo apartments up 0.6%. And here's how values have actually changed throughout the past 5 years. In this data, we're only looking at the month of April to take into account seasonal fluctuations, because the market does pick up and then it drops down. So the average price reported in 2020 was only $820,000. Then we saw a significant increase to $1,090,000 in 2021. Prices continued to increase, and April they peaked $1,251,000, and they came down about $100,000 and were just about the same in 2024. So if you were to ask me who this market is best for, buyers or sellers, this is definitely a great market for first-time buyers. Now you have supply, you have listings to choose from. At the same time, you could really negotiate a strong price, especially if you look at pockets where there's a big supply of listings for sale. Like there's some condos out there which we're able to get for our buyers like $50,000 less than what they would have sold for 6 months ago. And that's because in those condos, there's just a lot of listings which aren't selling. And if you're a seller wondering if you should be patient and wait, or you should go ahead and purchase, assuming that you're a seller that's just looking to cash out, like maybe you have an investment property, you're going to benefit by listing your property, provided that there's not a lot of supply and competing listings. Because if your neighbor's up for sale and they're below market value and they're not selling, why on earth would you put your property up for sale knowing that you're going to realize a price that you're probably not happy with? And this remains to be a great market for anybody looking to upsize, because you can sell your property within a few weeks. You can go ahead and purchase knowing that you have an ample supply of listings to choose from. You can negotiate calmly and not frantically in a bidding war. And if you'd like to continue to stay updated on the current market conditions, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you are considering buying or selling, make sure to call me. And if you're a real estate agent looking for a great brokerage with great real estate agents like myself, then make sure to reach out to me to learn more about eXp Realty. I thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you next time.